your source for everything paranormal. Para X. The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host and their guests do not necessarily reflect those of Para X, its affiliates, or its sponsors.
Now shall call. Live you must, and let to live. Fairly take, and fairly give. Do what thou will, if it harms none. By the magic of old, may it be done. 9 woods in the cauldron go, as above, so below. Welcome to Stirring the Cauldron on the Para X Radio Network. And now, here's your host, Marla Brooks.
Hey, Merry Meet, and welcome to Stirring the Cauldron. And I'm going to start out by apologizing in advance because I've been fighting laryngitis for the past few days and coughing my head off. So my voice is way better than it was. It's not perfect, and it might drop on me here and there. So I'm going to keep my finger on the mute button rather than blow your ears out with a coughing jag. Now, that being said, Barry and Connie Strohm are here tonight with us. And it's all about predictions for 2020, and I'm sure there's a lot to be told. So, Barry, Connie, I'm just cutting to the chase, and I'm sure you've got some interesting things coming up, and I'm excited to hear what's in store.
Yeah, Barry usually has a lot on his schedule.
Well, we got a couple really interesting things since it is December. On our Facebook group, Words of God Then and Now, on the 22nd. We are going to live channel on Facebook Live a Christmas message from Mary and Jesus. We did it last year, and the messages were wonderful. And if anybody would have an interest in listening to it this year, they have to join our group to do it live. And that's going to be on December 22nd at 9 o'clock Eastern Time.
So if somebody wants to join your group, what do they do?
Simply go to Facebook, put in Words of God Then and Now, and request to join. And I will put them into the group, and they can listen to what happens there. We've got about 2,000 members in it now.
Oh, and, nice.
Yeah, it's a lot of very good people are there. So it's
it's easy peasy to do too. So that's good. One of the things we were talking about just a minute before we came on the air, the predictions for 2020 are not going to be personal things this time. They're going to be things from all over the place, different subjects, different locations, whatever. What exactly did Laura tell you about this?
Well, she told we always talk to our guide Laura before the shows start, and she said that yes, they would be giving us predictions, but there might be things that they can't give us. There are many things that the spirits will not tell us. For instance, if there's going to be an event that could change life plans, they would not warn the people that they could avoid the event and thereby alter life plans that they came in with. So, I mean, when we first got into the channeling operation, we actually started our first website, which was spiritspredict.com. And they gave us an awful lot of predictions. For instance, I posted online about 6 months before it happened that the last pope was going to retire. And that one certainly, that was the first time in 650 years a pope did it. And they used predictions in the beginning to verify that what we were getting was actually good information. Now, since we've gotten into the more channeling with the Holy Spirits and our messages have changed, they've kind of pulled away from giving us a lot of predictions. But generally, when they do give us some, they pretty much come true. Right now, probably the most wild prediction we have going that I actually wrote about in my books is that 2020 is supposed to be the year of alien disclosure.
I keep hearing that. I mean, from several different people, and not people that none of you know each other, kind of thing, But it's coming from several different avenues. So tell us more.
No, and you can see it taking place. I mean, we're seeing more and more photography. The government's acknowledging that they have incidents they can't explain. And one of these days, and I think it's going to be within the next 12 months, they're going to just come right out and say, yes, we have had alien encounters. And hopefully the people will be positive enough and not be scared, and it will allow us to openly work with the aliens. They've been helping us for hundreds and thousands of years in the past, so might as well be out in the open and let's get her done.
Well, don't you think we're kind of acclimated to that now? I mean, if you take the War of the Worlds, people weren't expecting that. I mean, it was, little green men from outer space. It was very kind of on one level. But over the years, we've learned more and more and talked about different aspects of it and everything. And I don't think people are going to be scared like they did with War of the Worlds. I mean, I think we already know probably that this is going on. And, we're still here so far because they could have wiped us out a long time ago.
Yeah, War of the Worlds was actually an experiment.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to see just how people would react to the possibility of an alien presence, and it didn't go well. So, therefore, it was all on hold. But with the internet and modern communications and most people being indoctrinated in different ways of thinking, I think they are now satisfied that it's time and that people can handle it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We've been kind of predisposed to it for a long time, and I think, now it's not. I mean, yes, it's going to be a big deal. I mean, bottom line, it's going to be a big deal, but it's not going to be, like something out of the blue, something that we've never experienced, something we've never talked about or heard about or whatever. So interesting, though, but not suppose, but who would be the one to disclose, do you think? Or did they tell you? Is it going to come from a reliable source or a questionable source? Because you know how the world works.
Oh, yeah. No, I think it's going to come through the government. I think they have now acknowledged that there are things they can't explain. So it's not a great big step to say, yes, we do know that we actually have had contact in the past, and there's a reality to it. So I think it's going to come through government.
Okay. Well, some people don't trust the government either, but, it's better than somebody writing it in the National Enquirer.
Yeah, well, I don't think the National Enquirer is going to break it, but, who knows?
I think they already did, maybe once or twice already.
No, I think that they're probably going to say that some of the congressmen we have are aliens. Maybe that'll be a good way to break it.
Well, it'd be colorful anyway, right?
Yeah, I mean, some of them certainly act like aliens. What the hell? Go for it.
Yeah, go for it, but don't insult the aliens while you're at it.
You got that.
All right, so
it would be a good thing because the aliens that have come to our planet are much more advanced than we are.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're aware that they're there and accepting them, they can help us improve our society, hopefully.
Yeah, we did an interesting interview in our Speaking to Spirit series on my YouTube channel. We posted an interview today with Stephen Hawking. And, he was kind of saying that there weren't aliens. But now that he's on the other side, he has certainly changed his opinion. Of course, he was also an avowed atheist, and he really changed his mind about that. Very, very interesting interview with him. Incredible intellect with that guy. His energy was amazing when we were talking to him.
You would think so. I mean, when one area of the body goes weak, the other one gets really, really strong.
Yeah, and that actually, he suffered ALS for 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
And that was actually his life plan. He was sent back to act as an inspiration to others to show just what you can accomplish with severe physical disabilities. So, and he did say that you can rest assured he's not going to have the same type of life plan next time he reincarnates.
No, you get over the bad stuff, and each one progressively should get better unless you're a real idiot, which he was not.
No,
Nope. For sure. So you said that some of these predictions are going to come through live on the show, but I'm also going to let everybody in the chat room know that if you have a question about something's going on in our world in 2020, please send us a note, private message, or if you're lucky, if you want to type it in the chat room and it doesn't go by too fast, I'll see it.
Yeah, that's going to be the best way to do it, because if I ask the predictions, everybody thinks they know what's coming. Now, I have no idea what we're going to talk about tonight. So, if you can get the questions through chat or however else, mental telepathy or however you want to do it.
Oh, my brain's fried. There's no mental telepathy today.
but that would probably be the best way.
All right. So we've got a 30-second delay, so it might kick in really quick. I'll have a sip of tea in the meantime.
Yeah.
So how, in general, what's been going on with you guys? I mean, I know you're doing a lot of channeling and stuff, and in different aspects, and different YouTube channels too, right?
Yeah, we've been really working with this Speaking to Spirits series. We've got, I think, 22 videos up now with different historic figures. From Tesla, we did Thomas Jefferson, and we did Stephen Hawking, and one of the most interesting interviews we did was with Constantine the Great. Very, very interesting. He tells us exactly what was behind how he put how the Gospels were selected. Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground with these interviews right now. I think the next one we're going to do is probably George Washington. I'm enjoying going to our historical figures. We've done Franklin and Jefferson, and it's interesting to ask founding fathers what they think of what's happening in Congress today.
I'm surprised they would even understand what's happening in Congress today.
Oh, they understand.
Well, now that they're there, but I mean, things weren't like that when they were here, so it's just like, oh my God, this is really, really strange.
Yes, they're not well pleased with what's taking place.
No, it's got to be frustrating to be on the other side and see things coming and knowing the outcomes of it as well, and not being able to do much. I mean, I'm sure, you get messages and warnings and everything, but, basically they can't do a whole lot. And that's got to be like, banging your head against the wall, because, if you see something coming, you want to stop it, and you can't.
Yeah, one thing we do here is they thank us for being able to get messages out. They do actually come to us when they have messages. They try to influence as best they can, but a lot of people don't even realize that their guides are trying to influence them.
Yeah.
There's a lot of frustration on the other side and how much they can really affect things.
Mm-hmm. And yet you think, okay, when we get over there, we're going to know it all and we're going to be good. But that comes with its own set of problems, I guess.
And there's problems on both sides.
Yeah.
I mean, they can see it all. They can see the forward. They can see back, but they really don't have the ability to do a whole lot about it.
Right.
And I mean, the whole idea is why we're sent back with free will and ego is to mold the world that we live in.
Yeah, it is. And that's sad.
For better or for worse.
Yeah. No, there's no middle ground. It's either one way or the other. Sorry, we have a question from chat. Ginny wants to know what will help with climate change, including the quick extinction of so many species as a result. What can we do to help?
Okay, this is Laura. The problem of climate change has existed throughout the time that your Earth has existed. Keep in mind that your planet is actually a very violent place. Throughout time, over 99% of the species that have walked on your Earth are now extinct. So sadly, extinction of species is more the norm than the preservation of species. Just the same, it is very possible that the human race can extinguish itself. As you've evolved, you have been able to develop weapons of mass destruction with which you can create the end of your species. What all must do is to try to show love and goodwill towards all things. By that I mean, understand that you must take care of the planet. Mother Nature is actually quite capable of taking care of herself. And should things get so bad, it will be very conceivable that human race will disappear. The best thing you can do is to try to convince all countries that pollution is bad. Keep in mind, your planet has undergone huge temperature differentials in its history. And there will be huge differentials in the future. Sadly, species will disappear, and new species will appear. That is just the way of things.
Just thinking, how do new species appear? That's, I mean, I don't think.
Okay,
I mean,
here's our answer.
Okay.
As situations change, current species will evolve,
Okay.
and that evolution in a long period of time will change totally what that species appeared as that species first appeared.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, you humans have seen such evolution. Neanderthals are extinct, but through interbreeding with other human types, your human species has evolved into what you see today.
Mm-hmm.
So change is the will of God, and He has the ability to create new species as well.
Okay, that makes sense. I've got a question, and I think this is disturbing to everybody, but all these mass shootings, these killings of people for no reason, and it's usually young people that are doing it now, and I don't know if everybody saw the news yesterday about the shooting at Pearl Harbor by a sailor. It just, this is not making any sense. Is this supposed to be to thin the herd with all these mass shootings going on in schools, in public places, everywhere? And is it going to get worse next year?
You have to understand that the human race is a young and violent culture. Throughout the history of man, there have been many extremely violent periods. For instance, the Romans destroyed Jerusalem and killed all of those that lived within. What you're seeing today is a large growth in the human population on your planet. What you are also seeing is modern communication that allows individuals to be more aware of what is taking place. For instance, 200 years ago, people living in what is now America would not be aware of great violence taking place, for instance, in China.
Mm-hmm.
There has always been mass violence among your race. Today, what you're seeing is people drawing away from the teachings of God. You're also seeing a breakdown in morality, in that the family structure is being destroyed. Until individuals decide to show love for one another, to respect one another, and to live in harmony and share the principles of God with those that they're responsible to raising, there will continue to be a degeneration of human morals and increases in violence.
There's nothing we can do?
Yes.
I mean, go ahead,
yes,
sorry.
There is something that all can do. Those of us on this side have been sending back souls to speak of the teachings of God and to try to convince the masses that it is only through following his wishes that the human race will safely evolve. Keep in mind, the future of humans is in no way predefined. If humans decide to act like others in the galaxy and follow his teachings, all will live in harmony and Mother Earth will be protected and all will be well. If humans continue with the violence and deterioration in love and generosity towards others, then bad things will happen. The fate of humans is truly in your own hands.
It makes sense, but it just seems like the impossible dream that people will learn to love and peace and get along and everything. It just doesn't seem possible. I mean, I'm not saying it's totally impossible, but
it is quite possible that the human race will be part of the 99% that has suffered extinction.
Mm-hmm. It's like shooting yourself in the foot in a way.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a scary world we're living in, and it's just a shame to see all this nonsense. I mean, it's very serious, but why? Why do you have to go out and shoot innocent people? Back in the Wild West, everybody carried a gun, and the only ones that got hurt were the varmints, the ones that were cheating at poker or something like that. But now people just, everywhere you go, it's just happening, and it's very, very scary for no reason. I mean, in other countries, there's a reason. You've got drug cartels and, all that stuff to think about. But here, we don't really have that kind of world. And yet, it's kids going after kids, actually. And that's even scarier.
Once again, that is the result of the breakdown of the family. Until humans understand that a family unit is required, such violence among your young will continue. Another factor is the overabundance of illegal drugs in your current society. As long as people can gain wealth and power through the sale of habit-forming substances, the desire for growth, or the desire for wealth, and greed for power will play a very large role in your development.
Mm-hmm. Another thought, as time goes on, given the fact, hoping that we don't kill each other off before then, is there any sort of a gauge as to how life expectancy is going to get? Because remember back in the day, in George Washington's time, 37 was an old man, and, as it works up like that. In 100 years or 50 years or something, what would the life expectancy be, and is it going to keep continuing on like that?
Once again, the life expectancy of humans is determined by your own free will. As you have seen medical advances, life expectancies increase. What you're currently undergoing is a decrease in life expectancy because of dependencies on illegal drugs and violence. Once again, the fate of the human race is in your own hands. If the normal path of things is to take place, you will be given information and life-saving medical procedures that will extend your lives. If you fail to understand what is happening around you, then you will not be given such information. Keep in mind that the intelligent cultures on the other planets have learned to follow God's wishes and have learned to associate well with one another. They have been rewarded with long lifespans. At the current time, humans have one of the shortest lifespans of any intelligent forms in the galaxy.
Mm-hmm. Once
again, your fate is in your own hands.
All right. Well, that being said, there's a question. If they were wondering if there's going to be any major breakthroughs in the treatment of cancer, and what about stem cell therapy?
You are currently undergoing vast breakthroughs in advancing cures for cancer. Unfortunately, many of the cures have not become public knowledge. Once again, it is greed and the desire for wealth that often complicates making such cures public information. We introduced you to the concept of stem cells and how stem cell research can be used for a multiplicity of cures. It all depends, once again, on what decisions are made in order that such information is given to the public.
Laura keeps reading my mind. It's kind of scary. Because I was going to ask about the cures that we're probably not aware of, and a lot of public opinion says we do have a cure for cancer, but the pharmaceutical companies don't want us to have that because they're making a lot of money on that kind of thing. So she pretty much jumped in and answered my question, which doesn't surprise me. All right, we're going to take a quick 2-minute break, so you guys can shake it down for a minute, and we'll be right back.
Okay.
Don't go away. There's more Stirring the Cauldron with Marla Brooks right after these important messages.
Hey there. I don't know if you've heard, but there's a great new radio show on Para X. 2 hosts, 1 hour, and too much fun. Stephanie and Heidi not only talk about the latest goings-on in the supernatural worlds, they live it. They want to hear from you. They want to help you understand and guide you. And they want you to tune in. So, grab a friend or come alone to gather around that metaphysical table with Heidi and Stephanie. If you're interested in the worlds of the unseen, tune in to the Gathering Radio Show, Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern on Para X Radio.
Just in time for Halloween. Explore the second edition of the Witch's Oracle deck through 45 innovative cards and enhanced guidebook that peers into the world of the witch. The deck's stunning artwork has a new look and includes 7 brand new inspirational cards. Each card now includes a suggested crystal or gemstone to enhance your reading, as well as a magical incantation that provides energy, reinforces the card's meaning, and helps the desired message to be sent out into the universe. The easy-to-navigate guide also has a new look and offers straightforward, gentle guidance that takes readers through both good times and bad. And now includes a chapter on crystal and gemstone divination by the amazing Nicholas Pearson. The deck can also be used in conjunction with tarot, the Witch's Oracle. It is a perfect divination deck for witches as well as non-pagans, and is designed to suit both seasoned readers and beginners alike. Find out more about the Witch's Oracle deck at marlabrooks.com, and is now available for pre-ordering from schifferbooks.com and amazon.com.
Laura, you are good.
Welcome back to Stirring the Cauldron. Once again, here's your host, Marla Brooks.
Welcome back, everybody. We're here with Connie and Barry Strohm and Laura, the channel. And if you have any questions to find out about what's coming up in the next 12 months in the world that we live in, please either send me a private message in chat, or you can put it in the chat room, because the chat room's not flying. It's going nice and slow, so it won't, I won't miss it. So anyway, Barry, while we're waiting for some questions to come in, I know you talked about this before, and I've asked you before, but I don't remember. Tell everybody, or Laura, tell everybody about yourself, because we keep referring to Laura. Some people might not know who she is or what,
Well, we all have spirit guides from the other side. They're with us from the time in the womb, through childhood, as we grow up. Their role is to try to guide us and to show us the way to improve and to follow our life plans. They actually play a much larger role than anybody believes, and many people don't even understand that they exist. But there are different guides in different forms. For instance, you may have a family member that helps guide you. There are guides on the other side that are very, very advanced. Now, Laura is our master guide, and she is very, very advanced on the other side. Laura has a close relationship with Jesus on the other side. She has a close relationship with all of the saints that we managed to channel. And she is capable of understanding absolutely incredible things. She's the one, they tie us into channeling animal souls. We can do, for instance, when people call in and ask a direct question from anywhere in the country, she is capable of getting in contact with their loved ones and bringing messages from their loved ones. So we all have guides, and Laura is our principal guide. We have another wonderful guide named Roz. He helps us a lot, especially when we're doing animal channeling. And Roz was in charge of teaching us how to do all this. When Connie and I were learning the board, he was our instructor. And I will tell you that he was quite patient, because it took us a long time to learn how to communicate with the other side. But we all have guides, and one night I asked how many guides that I have, and the answer was as many as you need.
There you go. I know.
When we were doing some of our initial books, I would have questions made up in whole different areas. And one night I was asking questions, and we had contact with 12 different guides in that session. But one guide generally doesn't know everything. They're specialty guides. Mm-hmm. And it's amazing on the other side just how much help is available if you want to open yourself to what is out there.
Yeah, and I tell people that when you're calling upon your guides, if you need somebody, a specialist, just like a doctor, go. And your primary guide, physician, here's the thing, isn't going to be upset if you go to a specialist. So, don't be afraid to ask, because that's what they're there for.
Oh, absolutely. And it is amazing how much they know. For instance, when I was first having heart problems, the guide came through and told Connie that I needed to go see a cardiologist. And, they know my physical condition. They know when I've got problems. And they arrange things to happen to facilitate curing or... It's happened. The more I know, the more amazed I am with the abilities that they have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, if we were as smart as they are, it would be like a piece of cake to try and figure it out. But,
but
we're not.
We are not going to be that smart on this side.
No, for sure. Got a question from Luna, and she says, "I'm in California, so I have to ask about earthquakes."
Okay. Laura, can you give us some information about what's going to take place? At the present time, you are entering a time period of movement in the tectonic plates that will result in earthquake activity. Much of this will be directed in California and on the fault lines of the West Coast. But there will also be activity in the center of the country. In the coming year, you will experience some earthquake activity in the state of California. We do not anticipate that it will be the massive earthquake for which your state has the potential to experience. But there will be several times in the upcoming year where you will experience earthquakes of varying intensity. Mm-hmm.
We had 2 today around here. So you just never know, and it's inevitable, and it changed a little bit. That one fault up in the north, where they had that really bad earthquake around the 4th of July, that's a little baby fault, but it switched around somehow in itself, so it was now able to bring on an 8-point earthquake, which is really weird. But along those lines, now, you guys have heard about this, was it a volcano in Yosemite?
Yes, it's called the Yellowstone has the greatest potential for it.
One of those 2, they were saying earlier this year that it had the capacity to blow, and if it did, it would send ash all the way from one coast to the other.
That's the Yellowstone cauldron.
Okay, I got my Yellowstone, Yosemite. Okay,
close. Yeah.
So it's got a Y in it. It's close. So any thoughts about that from Laura?
There will be some increased activity in the Yellowstone area, but in your lifetimes, you will not experience any great volcanic activity. But there will be a time in the distant future where changes in volcanic activity will certainly affect that area. And when it does, it will indeed have a major impact on your country.
I would think so.
But they've told us before that it's going to be like a couple hundred years off until something really major takes place up there.
Yeah, I just, just when I heard about it, it's like, oh, God, here we go. All right, someone else in chat, Jenny, says that she lives right next to the San Andreas Fault. Will it be a large part of the upcoming quakes?
It will be impossible to have major earthquakes without the San Andreas being affected. There will be a time that a major earthquake will occur along that fault line.
We've had enough of those. I mean, I think, yeah, in my lifetime there have been at least 2 of them that were, almost catastrophic. So, yeah, I'm just getting kind of weirded out because of all the little faults that are now getting the capability to do such huge quakes.
Well, she said that there's some major movement in the plates right now, and something's got to give.
That's a great analogy, especially for an earthquake. Yep, something does give when that starts shaking. That's bad enough. Okay. I was thinking of something else that went one ear and out the other. I'm not getting any questions from chat right at the moment, but I'm just kind of worried, or not worried, but I'm curious about things like, well, we already covered violence, which is bad enough. But all right, let's talk about something really positive. Let's talk about some new innovations or new creations or new technology that will be really good. And, I'm not going to say it's like getting into the Jetsons car and driving up in the air like that, but are there any new types of technology that are going to be kind of interesting or fun or, innovative? I guess that's probably a dumb word, but yeah. Anything like that?
There will be a time that you will truly understand how interplanetary or intergalactic travel takes place. Once that you have established the fact and understand that you are not alone in the universe, you will have the opportunity to learn the secrets of how to harness natural occurrences such as wormholes to facilitate travel beyond speeds that you never can comprehend at this time. Once again, you are about to have disclosed to you the fact that you are not alone in your galaxy. Once you have that information, you will undergo rapid technological changes. It will be up to you how you use that information.
Well, it'd just be good to know that there's some kind of, I don't want to call it fun stuff, but interesting new things, developments coming up that we can look forward to instead of all bad.
Here's something else. Yeah. He's saying, additionally, you will undergo great changes in your abilities to communicate with others. There will be a time that you will understand the concept of mental communication. You will learn that many of the extraterrestrial individuals communicate entirely through their mental abilities. Remember that humans at this time only use about 5% of your mental capabilities. We will teach you how to expand the capabilities of your mind. Just think how your world could be improved if humans learned to use, let's say, half of the mental capability that God has given them.
Yeah, that's very true. Somebody's asking a question about the sea levels in Venice, Italy. You know, they're having a really bad time. Somebody's saying, well, are we going to still have a Venice? Is it going to sink into the sea?
Venice will undergo more problems in the near future. There will be a time that ocean surfaces will stabilize. There will be a time that the warming trend the Earth has been undergoing will stabilize. Keep in mind that it is the natural way of things for Earth to undergo wide temperature changes. When they built Venice, it was a time that ocean surfaces were relatively low. Keep in mind that there were times that almost the entire Earth was covered by water. So when you speak of times in history, you are speaking in very short periods of time when compared to how long the Earth has actually been here. So yes, Venice and low-lying areas will have problems in the upcoming years.
Okay. We're jumping around in different things, but I got 3 really good questions coming up. The first one, drones, are they good or bad?
Once again, drones are what you make them. They can be for good or they can be for bad. It is all up to your free will into what you do with them.
Okay. Now, with regards to the alien disclosure, will the various types or races of aliens be discussed? Also, will any other supernatural creatures be discovered or verified?
You will have the presence of different alien forms. For instance, the Palladians among you the Palladians among you will come forth, and you will understand that you have had alien assistance for many, many years.
Mm-hmm.
In the beginning, you will not be aware of what you consider some of the more radical types. For instance, disclosure will not come through the spider people because that would be too fearful. You will be gradually informed of the many different types of individuals that are around you. Keep in mind that there are hundreds of different extraterrestrial forms throughout our galaxy.
And any other supernatural creatures to be discovered?
What are you referring to as supernatural creatures? For instance, are you speaking of ghosts? You are undergoing a time that more and more people are aware of the spiritual presence on the other side of the life veil. So yes, as your sensitivities increase, more and more people will be able to communicate with those of us on the other side.
Okay. And another question, do we still have evolutionary changes to take place before we can interdimensional travel?
Absolutely. You will have to increase your mental capabilities. We have sent back individuals with great mental capabilities. For instance, Einstein or Hawking were sent back with the ability to use more and more of their mental capabilities. Even as great as these people were in their ability to conceive, they used only a small percentage more of their brain than humans have the capability of using. There will be a time, if humans do not self-destruct, that their mental capabilities will be greatly enhanced.
So much to look forward to, actually. Anything that we need to be warned about in particular, to be on guard for, or, some kind of red flag waving that we don't see yet, but we better start seeing it.
What you are seeing currently is the growth of evil in your society. As technology has become foremost, you humans have drawn further from the teachings of God, and many of you believe that as your scientific knowledge increases, that knowledge is capable of defining all that takes place around you. There will be a time that you will understand the true power of God, and that it is He that allows all things to take place. So there are many changes that you humans must undergo if you are going to advance to the point that you can travel the stars, as do the other forms of individuals in our galaxy.
Okay. It just, a lot of this is up to us. I mean, we're being tested in a way. It seems like, that free will thing will trip you up every time, but it seems like that's really going on. And we just have to be diligent. We have to try to do better. We have to whatever. And it's just so frustrating that, you're with a group of people. And I mean, and this is a small example. You're with 4 different people, and they're all your friends, but everybody has a different thought pattern. And very seldom are you all going to be thinking along the same lines all the time. And that, when you multiply that from your friends and your neighbors and the city, the state, and across the world, I just don't see how it could possibly be, because people are just people, and everybody thinks they're right.
And that is part of the wonder in how God created humans. Each human has the ability to think for themselves and to use their free will. Until you humans learn that hatred will destroy all, and to drive hatred from your hearts, you will not be allowed to evolve to your full potential. It is actually as complicated as human thought can be. Your future is actually quite simple. You must destroy hatred, and you must show love and compassion towards others. If you show it, then others show love and compassion to you, and through mutual cooperation, all can advance. It is actually a very simple concept. It is only you humans that make it so complicated.
Yeah, we overthink a lot, which is, shooting ourselves in the foot, I think. All right, we're getting really close to the end, Barry. So tell people where they can subscribe, like on your YouTube channels, how to subscribe, and where they can find you, all that good information.
Okay. My YouTube channel is in my name, Barry Strohm. Just go on YouTube, search my name, and you'll see our channel come up. We've got well over 80 videos now posted where we do live channeling. A lot of really interesting stuff, and we try to add something every week to it. I still have a little bit of a space in my personal Facebook page. You can send me a friend request. We have a group on Facebook called Words of God Then and Now, and you can try to join our group and listen to the postings that we do. I try to do a channeled message a day that we put up on in that group. Plus, you have the advantage of being able to listen to our Facebook Live sessions where we speak to the spirits and let the group members participate. I've got a couple websites. One of them is wordsofgodthenandnow.com. You can come in through that and send me emails through any of the websites that we have. And all of my books are available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or signed copies can be purchased through the website themselves. So we're fairly accessible. It's just you need to look for it.
Yes, you are. And I just want to remind people, too, if you enjoy Stirring the Cauldron, I have a YouTube channel, too, for the show, and it's called Stirring the Cauldron Para X. And when you subscribe, and this goes for Barry's channels, too, on YouTube, find the little bell in the upper right-hand corner and ding it, and you will get, you'll find out whenever he posts something new or when I post something new. It'll automatically, I think they send you an email and say, hey, go something new to look at. So go ahead and do that. And in the meantime, thank you, Barry. Thank you, Connie. I really appreciate your visit, as always.
Yes, it's always a great time. Connie's over here choking right now. And
coughing, she got it from me. Oh, my God.
I don't know. So I don't choose that she's going to be. I think we may have a word from her here in between chokes. But
yeah, I got you. I can empathize totally. All right.
Yeah,
Huh?
I was just trying to take care of it for you so you didn't have to cough.
Thank you. Yeah, well, my
That's what
mute
friends
button,
are for.
it sounded like I didn't cough, but, I got...
Good. We didn't hear a cough out of you.
No, I didn't screw up this time. All right, anyway, thank you guys. Thank you guys for listening in as well. And until next time, everybody, blessed be and merry meet again. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you for tuning into this episode of Stirring the Cauldron with Marla Brooks. Please join us again next week at the same time for another great guest and more cauldron stirring. Any rebroadcast or other use of this program without explicit permission is strictly prohibited. Copyright 2019. The Mysterioso March by Kevin MacLeod is licensed through Incompetech.com.